The last question I had is bringing it back to the man in the title, Diogo Jota. Looking at the long term, he's 25. He's just signed a contract for 5 years. Let's go 4 years in the future. Jurgen Klopp, his contract expires. He departs the club. Jota will have 1 year left on his contract, assuming he doesn't renew, doesn't leave. What has he done in those 4 years, Jay? How much has he played? How much has he started? Has he broken into the lineup by then? What does the 4 years from now, long term, look for Diogo Jota?
That question, mate, because anything can happen. He could have a terrible injury, or one of the other front three could, and he could become the main man. But in an ideal world, mate, in 4 years, he's got at least 2 Premier League titles and a Champions League in there. And this is why it's a hard question, mate, because come that time, if he has achieved that, he might feel like Mane and think, you know what, I've won it all here now. I want a new challenge. I'm 29, pushing 30. I just want a bumper contract now. You've seen how long it took us to give Salah one, so you might be waiting a while to get a bumper deal at 30. But yeah, mate, I think he'll have had a successful career. I really like Jota. I think he's underappreciated, and yeah, having him in the squad's a great thing. I think he's a boss player. So yeah, like I said, I hope he's 2 Premier League titles richer and at least a Champions League title richer come that time.
Anthony has much higher expectations than you, Jay. He's saying he wants 4 of each in the next 4 years. So, you know.
So do I, mate. Well,
I mean, who would complain? Yeah, 4 quadruples as well. I mean, like, you know, a quadruple of quadruples. Just it's perfect, isn't it? Look, I'll move a different direction rather than team success individual. Just looking at the guys in front of him in that lineup and the guys coming up, you know, maybe even tossing like a Cade Gordon, at Harvey Elliott as a potential forward option, Carvalho as a potential forward option. Has he broken? And I get it's a squad game, and with 5 subs, he'll be in and involved. Has he become a starter in those 4 years? A nailed-on starter in those 4 years? Just let's assume no injuries. It's a tough assumption, but assuming no injuries of the current guys, how is that balance kind of shaped up in your head?
I don't think Jota's ever going to be in the conversations that Mane and Salah were in. And Salah still is in terms of being the best of the best. I think he's going to be an incredibly, and I don't mean this to sound mediocre, an incredibly competent goal scorer and striker for us. And that's a compliment that I give him there. I think he's going to be very reliable, bar injury, which, you know, is out of our control. When he's in and around that first team, he's going to get us goals. He's going to make things happen. I think this is probably, I'm going to make a wild prediction, and you can come back to this in 4 years' time. I think this is probably his last contract. I think it gets to 2026. He's 25 now, so 2026 he's 28, 29. We'd probably look to cash in on him. In all honesty, maybe he signs an extension so that we guaranteed get that extra bit of money. But I think 2027 will be the last days of Diogo Jota, and that's got nothing to do with his ability. It's just our financial model. I think it's perfect. We signed him, and I think Hyla put it earlier, about 90k a week. He's done 2 years, proved himself. He's got his new contract, probably 150, 180 tops. If we get that, we get him until 2027 on that. That's great business for us. Bought him for, how much did we buy him for again? 40
million.
40, I think, yeah.
Probably if he continues an upward trajectory, probably age dependent, get the same, if not a bit more for him, maybe 60 million, I don't know. That in our financial structure, that's a great bit of business. And that's how I personally see things going in 4 years' time. So make sure, you know, we're all going to be here then, definitely. So please do click this up, and we'll come back to it. I'll start the countdown.
Only us could, on the same day of his contract extension, be talking about when he's leaving the club. Like we're like fast tracking his career. Like, all right, buddy, I know you're here for another 5 years. When are you going now? When are you leaving? Tino, I'll give you the same question. Kind of look into the long term. Take it however you want. What does, you know, the development of Jota look like? The squad development look like? Because he's in an interesting spot. It's not a bad one or a good one. It's a very interesting one for me, at least. Your perspective on it.
That's a tough question. I don't think he will ever be Liverpool's starting striker. I don't think, or starting anywhere on the front three long term. I don't think that's what is in this squad. I don't think he's got the unless he drastically changes and improves and gets onto that Salah level, onto that Mane level. I don't think he's the type of guy who will reach that heights. He said in when the contract was announced that he came in and he wanted to establish himself as an important first team player, and that's what he's done since he came in. But I don't see him going any further than being a squad rotation player. I really don't. I think he's a quality player, a phenomenal player, and what he's done so far has been brilliant. I don't see him that guy to really push to that elite level that Salah and Mane have done, and even Salah to even further level with the stats that he's produced. I think he's going to be in the same or maybe a similar category as Bobby is currently, which is phenomenal player, unbelievably important stylistically and what we've achieved, but like he's Salah and Mane just that level above, just that level above, and I don't see him going anywhere higher than that, or anywhere higher than he currently is.
I think the ceiling for Jota is very interesting. I'd be inclined to agree with you, Tino, but if anyone could burst that ceiling open and bring him to a new level, I think it is this club. Ending things off, just kind of a final thoughts on Jota, on the impending season. Jay, I'll go to you first with it. Just final thoughts in general.
Just really positive, mate. Tino was saying before about Jota probably won't get rushed back till middle of September, end of September, which I agreed with, and said probably after the international break. The great thing is that we're in a position where we can wait for him to get fit. A couple of seasons ago, we'd have probably started from straight in because we were short of options and short of proper goal scorers. So it's all around positive, mate. We've got him tied down for another couple of years, and we've got bags of options there up front now as well. So yeah, positive all around.
Louis, for you, final thoughts.
Yes, very good. No, it's just exciting, isn't it? It's a great way to kind of go into that new season. I think a lot of people would have preferred to have a surprise midfielder signing announcement, but Jota committing is another important step in that phase 2 really developing. I think he's definitely a part of that. Only being 25, like he's got a good 4 or 5 years on the likes of Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino, etc. So whilst I completely agree with Seb, I don't think he's ever going to be our starting, like leading the line striker. Like he could very well go on long spells of being in the starting 11, but he's never going to be that Nunes, that Torres, that Suarez. But he doesn't need to be. Like not every single player needs to be that to be a roaring success at your club. And Jota's already proved that, in and around the Golden Boot or, second place for a very, very long time. An unbelievable goal record. And with not always being in the starting 11 for quite large parts of it. So he's going to be big. He's going to be big in his own way for us.
If all else fails, just bring him in for the Arsenal match and he'll bag a brace. Simple as that. Tino, your final thoughts.
I don't want to end on hate because I do love Diogo Jota. I think he's a phenomenal player. And I'm going to apologise to Steve personally in the chat. Like I say, he's a rotation player. And I think the timing was quite good with his injuries. Maybe we could have left it until like the week before the transfer window ends. To say here's this big huge announcement that we've got. We're not buying a midfielder, but here's this big huge announcement we've got. Maybe we could have done that. I know that would have probably annoyed a lot of people on social media. But yeah, I think this season, his career, I think this season particularly is going to be a huge season for him. I have no doubts that he's going to be able to progress and be that guy, that instant impact sub. We've had plenty of them over the years who have come in and just been that substitute who is just phenomenal and the guy you turn to when you're in a difficult place. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this season. I'm looking forward to winning the title by January, like I said earlier. And if we don't, like I said, we'll win the Champions League. So it'll all be good.
By January as well.
By January as well. Exactly. Every club will go bust, and we'll win the Champions League by January.
By default. Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
that's a win in its own way.